Hello. All right. We're coming to you with today's dose of love. Very strange dose. All right. So I wanted to come to you and talk to you about the 17 dimensions, but I didn't want to just go down the list and just talk it like that. I wanted to show you in a pictorial way or an image way of how all these 17 dimensions. So, first off, we've got us here on the planet. We've got 7 hermetic principles and the law of unconditional love. Then, when you go out from the earth, we got 13 planets. Okay. After 13 planets, we've got 9 galaxies. That's the 9 star seeds everybody talks about. We have 9 galaxies, including Earth. Please don't call them reptilians. They're terrestrians. Thank you very much. No such thing as a reptilian. That's BS. Same as spiritual. This is all energetic, angelic, and energetic. Okay. Then we have 17 universes. The 17 universes in our universal cluster is what makes up our existence. This is our quantum entanglement. Because whatever happens to us here on this earth affects a being or more beings within the 17 universes. And definition of quantum entanglement is something happens, it affects somewhere else. And that's exactly what's going on. So let's start with Earth matter. Okay. Earth matter, we've got the our avatar. That's our reality. Then the second one is instinct. That's on Maki Maki. And that is anything that creates a reaction out of anything. That's instinct. Haume is emotion. Emotion is broken up. The third dimension is broken up into 3 ways that it affects you. One, your brain, which your brain is a satellite dish, which takes in energies from all around for a mile radius. This is how the archons get to you. Archons are created by negative thought, negative talk. Then you've got your spinal cord, which your spinal cord is the connection to the 15 chakra energy line from the all through you, through the sun, through all the galaxies. It goes through everything and it goes into Earth. It goes through everything. Everything in existence has this line through it. And so that is your connection to all the energies. That's what makes you connected to the collective. And then your nervous system, which is the programming plus your soul, plus the 54 beings, the 49 sense beings, and the 5 elemental beings within your own body. So there's a lot going on that feeds your emotions. That's why sometimes if you don't understand what's going on, it's true. You don't understand because it's your brain or your spine or your nervous system. It could be something from outside. Then we've got the fourth one, which is mind, Mercury, which is the mentalism and thought. Pluto is the 5th dimension. That's heart will. And that's your connection to the unconditional love. So the further you get from heart will, the denser you shall get. That's the problem there. So heart will is directly connected to your density because you are an unconditional love being when you were born. You were a righteous being, an angel. You had to be that level in order to be born. Okay. And then in the 6th dimension, we've got the ancestral memory. That's, oh yeah, heart will is Pluto. I love that. Saturn is the ancestral memory, and this is where you need to understand discernment. Not everything that you were taught from your parents need to come forward. You need to leave the cruelty behind and only bring love forward. Mars, time mechanics. This is where time only moves forward. It does not go back. Law 8, that's on series. That is the 7 principles and the law of nature. Now, soul voice, the ninth dimension, that is your higher self. So your higher self and your avatar. So anything your avatar does that affects this directly affects your higher self in that moment. You get mad, you get angry, you get violent. Your higher self goes to hell right then. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Boom. Right then and there, swooped up, and energy just goes floop, and they're not happy. They can't help you, and it makes you miserable. This is why having these emotions, anything less than the heavenly emotions, you are dropping your vibration so low that your higher self can't stand it. Just know that. Uranus, flame memory, the 10th dimension. Now, flame memory is very, very interesting because here is where ideology comes into play. Because if you don't have an ideology of your own, then you're carrying somebody else's. So if you're somebody who is a very big, only sticks to your book and doesn't listen to what anybody else says, you're not opening your mind up at all, then you are putting your higher self into hell because you are a denier. I don't care how good of a Christian, how good of an Islamic person you are, how good of a Jew you are, a Jewish person you are, how good of a Buddhist you are, how good of a Hindu you are. It does not matter what religion. It does not matter. Listen, energies do not know the difference between religions. They do not know this. We're all energy. Everything is energy. So when you turn around and you haven't created your own philosophy and your own ideology by opening up and reading everything and seeing what resonates with you, because every one of us are different. Everybody has different truths. Yes, there are a bunch of truths. This is a truth that's the same for everybody. But then when you get down to ideology and philosophy, everybody's got their own truths. I don't have a period. I don't bleed, yet I am still a woman. But my truth is not. No, I have not had a period. In fact, I lost my period very young. I had a hysterectomy due to cancer, 24. So I honestly cannot tell you what it's like to have a menstrual period. I'm 58 now. I have no idea. It has been so long. I can't tell you. I do know one thing. Those pads were nasty, disgusting, and I freaking hated that. And the smell was bad. That's about all I can remember back in the 80s. But since it's been gone, I have no idea. So my truth will not be the same truth as a woman who bleeds. That's a fact. So when it comes down to this, if you don't create your own ideology and philosophy, all you're doing is carrying somebody else's. Aether. In the aether is the star lineages. We have 9 galaxies within our galactic cluster. These 9 galaxies, once upon a time, came together in Lemuria. 8 of them did. The 9th one being Earth, terrestrial, which didn't come until later because they were trapped in the halls of Menti. We won't talk about that. We'll talk about that later on. That's on my other information. So you've got Milky Way, which is terrestrial, Andromedan, Arcturian, Minatakan, Pleiadian, Lyrian, Sirian, Vegan, and Orion. Here's where the problem comes in. Some of these, like Minatakan, Lyrian, Sirian, and Orion, they were predator and prey. So in their galaxy, they ate meat. They came here and ate meat. That's why we eat meat. That's wrong. We're not supposed to. We're never supposed to harm anything less than. We do not have a predator that eats us. We do not become a predator. That's a fact. Now, on the other hand, vegans, y'all are from Vega. I get that. On Vega and vegan, you guys had issues with plants, and you guys had issues with like animals did not want you to take their milk and did not want you to eat their eggs. That was there. Here, Mother Earth provides us with a sacred cow to give us life and a sacred chicken to give us life. How dare we eat them? Get me? That's how that works. So, everybody forgot the oath and you're going back and reverting because everybody's remembering now, but you're going back and remembering your galaxy and not remembering coming into this galaxy in Lemuria. Lemuria never fought Atlantis. Lemuria became Atlantis. This spiral I am talking about right here used to be a spiral that came up, and every Lemurian from all the other galaxies walked down that spiral and realized every single one of these that created the matter and gave them their bodies, which made up their DNA. That's why there's 17 DNA that identify a human. On to the 12th. So in the astral realm, divine dream, which is the 12th dimension, this is where when you're sleeping, daydreaming, tripping, or astral projecting. Here's the problem. If you trip to go into the astral realm, you don't know who you latched onto to get you there. Because when you astral project, you will have done what needed to be done in order for you to go through the checks and balances, in order for you to get there, meaning you had yourself centered and straight. If you trip, you don't. You could have a dark angel take you up. You could have a light angel. It's a crapshoot. You guys know that who trip. I've never tripped, so I don't know, but I'm going to say that from what I know of this, y'all's trips can be like a crapshoot. All right. Venus has death and resurrection in the 13th dimension. This is where your soul contract begins and ends. The problem is when you began your soul contract, you were in the fourth. You had to be an angel in order to be incarnated. And here's where it gets tricky. So you were righteous and you were an angel and you were like, yeah, I got all these lessons, and you put them in there. But then when that baby came out of the mom and went and did that first breath, the thing you didn't understand is while you were hanging out with mama the whole time she was pregnant, getting ready to go in that baby's body, and you had those 16 light angels with you, you forgot you had these other 16 dark angels that are now with you. Plus, you have archons. So if mom in her pregnancy and she's having a rough time and she's like, rah, 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 and she's got that weird energy, then the archons have been drugged in. This is where a righteous baby can be born to be destructive. It's because the beginning of that baby's life was too chaotic. The archons were brought in. He didn't just have the 16 light and the 16, you know what I'm saying? He also had some injection of negative energy that already started that spiral. So people, please understand, around these pregnant women, literally make that vibration better. You're bringing angels into this world. Treat it like that. Be like that. It is sacred. It is special. We're not supposed to get engulfed in these religions and this crap. Religions are just this. If you stick with one, you hear nothing. Yes, I've studied them all. Yes, I've read it all. I had to because none of it made any sense. But when you go out and you look at it all and you only pull the good stuff, here it is. Here's the truth. Love. This is how things are done. So you do your soul contract. But here's the other thing. If yourself has dropped yourself down to here and then you die in the greed space, you have now permanently put your higher self into a hell for eternity. It is so much harder to level up within Continuum than it is. You come to Earth to level up and leave. You come to prove yourself. Yeah. Illusion's rough, isn't it? Whew. And we're not even working together. Cruelty is rewarded. That's ending. That's over. I know it is. So let's get to the 14th dimension is Jupiter, the galactic memory. This is where the Akashic record for this timeline only exists because remember, time only goes forward. So our Akashic records are going off of our actions and our energetic feed right now. So it can only have ours. It can't have. This is where the problem comes in. We've got these alien cyborgs who did a CERN on the dark side of the moon, time jumped to 2200 BCE, and they've been messing with us ever since. And here's the thing is they don't have me written into it because this information doesn't come out unless they did this. This is how things work. So nobody's expecting all of us to wake up and remember who we are, but that's what it is. It's the time of Atlantis. Atlantis didn't die. Once upon a time, Atlantis held 8 billion beings who couldn't handle the density of the crust. So they built these machines that would go into the earth because the earth was already cracked along the Atlantic Ocean. They needed land, they needed water. The cracks came from the dinosaurs first, then the giants finished cracking this geode. When time came and Atlantis fell, when the Satya Yuga ended it the first time, then that's when that land, those I call them space elevators, go through and the beings go into the vortex. They go into the earth where it is not as dense and they can handle life so much better. So inner earth beings just they couldn't handle. So when you guys first went down this DNA spiral, not everybody handled this very well. Everybody was up here, and this was just too heavy for them. And people were acting like this and being this way, and they couldn't be around them. So we literally have this 21 spiral building, and the ones that are down here are the ones that stay because forgetting was part of the. Are you starting to get what I'm saying? Forgetting was part of this whole thing. So now we're back around. We're in the Satya Yuga. Now it's time to remember. And this is what I'm talking about with the Akashic records. If you guys get to the Akashic records, you'll see what I'm saying is exactly right. Then we get to Neptune, the Oversoul Network is the 15th. This is where everything is recorded, everything all the time. This is what makes going back in time capable, because now it's all written in stone. Therefore, it allows time to now become set. This happened at such and such date. Okay? That's how that works. And then you get to the moon, which is unity. This is where the collective energy is. This is why when, well, I have two theories. One, I think the Greys came back and didn't come to Earth, because if they would have come to Earth, then they would have integrated their cyborg alien looking bodies and they couldn't play this alien UFO bullshit on us. So they did the moon. Number two, the dark side of the moon is the perfect place. And by the time we got the technology to actually go up there and look at it, A, they'd already have control of our minds. B, they would already be controlling the narrative. And C, the space dust would have it covered. And it does. So that's how that works. You go back 2200. Now, Anu and Newt, those are not sky gods. Those were inner earth beings. Those are actual Atlanteans that you were told to praise the sun, because the sun needs to be praised so it can send life energy back to you. It does. It gives you life. Why would you deny that? It's beyond me. So that's how that one works, okay? So that's the unity, and that the collective energy is in the moon. So if the collective energy is negative, the moon gives us negative tides. If the collective energy is positive, the tides would be nice. You guys control the whole weather and everything. It's how the collective is. The moon controls the weather. The moon's controlled by you. Another little quantum entanglement. And then you get to the 17th dimension. 17th dimension is Divine Pymander's chamber, which is also the top of the 21 densities, because when you get to zero density, pure unconditional love, and when I exhale my life out of this body, I will go rainbow and I will go up to the Divine Pymander's chamber, because it's time for me to leave, because I will have done my duty by bringing unconditional love into this planet and understand why unconditional love is important, because love is the only thing that creates this circle, which in turn we love the Pymander. Pymander's in the sun, and the sun in turn feeds us with life and creates matter. And there you have it in this pretty little picture. So this is how the 17 dimensions work to create us. But know that you have connection to every one of these. Go to AtlanteanLove.com. Go see the connections. Go check it out for yourself. All I want to do is give it freely of my heart. This is my duty. I am but a benevolent, humble servant of the unconditional love, here to tell you I have suffered through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s cruelty. And dudes, I'm telling you, cruelty days are over. Fuck that shit. It's over. It's over. What we have going on right now is the last lines. We know it all. Everybody sees everything. Nothing's hidden anymore. It's because we're all on an energetic level. Yeah, 2012 got hijacked, but guess what? 2025 did not. And I'm telling you, Satya Yuga comes in, it came in, and ever since March 21st, people are seeing things. I say it to my family. They tell me I'm crazy, and then you guys make videos and it comes out and I go, I'm not the only one. And that's all that matters. Love, unconditional love for all beings, all the time, seen and unseen, known and unknown, animate and inanimate. I am telling you, the children know. Gen Z, Gen A, they know. Yes. Yes, they're going to hold the teachers. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to turn around and say, stop. And what you mean? And you're going to turn around and go, you a young kid, who in the hell are you to say this to me? Those fucking kids have more right to hold you accountable than you ever know. It is our duty in life to hold other people accountable. And we can hold everybody to the level of unconditional love. This is our duty. This is what we're here for. And you're not going to stop the angelic beings. You're not going to stop the Satya Yuga. You can't stop the energies. But here's the thing. Guys, hey, I've seen the videos. Listen, if MAGA comes around and asks for forgiveness, by golly fuck, you better. Who are you to hold anything against them? Why would you stunt growth? Why would you stop growth? Be kind to all, no matter what. We are supposed to patiently wait for people to wake up, not get mad at them, and not hold them against it. Nobody's holding your past against you. Don't hold anybody else's past against them. Love yourself. And love yourself enough to know that you wouldn't want it done to you. You don't do it to somebody else. It is time for unconditional love to reign. And by golly, it will. It does. And it's just a matter of time before it becomes law. I love you guys. This is your daily dose of love.